Alright guys, so have you always liked Pilot Flieger style watches, but you've always thought they're a little bit on the large side, or maybe you've got smaller wrists and you just need something a bit smaller? Well, if that's the case, then this could be the watch for you. And it all comes in at a really impressive price of around $55 as well. But I guess the question is, have they cut too many corners to get down to that price? Or is it still a really good buy? So this is the review of the Militado M10 V2. But I have checked out quite a few other Militados on the channel, some of which I've got down here. So if you want to check them out and more, I'll leave a link to the playlist up in the top and also down in the description. So I'll quickly show you the packaging in passing, and then we'll get right down into it. So it's nothing too fancy, like a fake leather, but does the job. And then here is the actual watch. So because it's a Pilot watch and it's a Flieger style, you can get it in either Type A, which I've got here, or the Type B. So if you do like this kind of style of watch, you should be able to find one of those two that you prefer. And it isn't just the layout of the dial that is different. The hands are actually slightly different too, in terms of length and also the actual style slightly. So if you're interested in the Type B, I'd recommend searching out a review for that one specifically. But getting back to this Type A, before we go into any more detail on it, first of all let's go over the dimensions. So I'm measuring the diameter at 36.9mm, thickness at 9.7, lug width of 18, then the all-important lug to lug is coming in at 44, so some really nice compact dimensions there. And then when it comes to the weight on the supplied NATO strap, that's coming in at 53 grams. So seeing as we're talking about it, let's take a closer look at that strap. Starting with the hardware. So it is actually sandblasted, unbranded, but it is nicely done. Stitching's nice on the strap too, no issues with that at all. It's not the highest quality, it is quite firm, not the softest. Then when it comes to the back of the watch, we've got a sterile case back on this, but it is screw down, helping with that 100-meter war resistance. And again, we've got that sandblasted finish. Now moving on to the side of the case, we've got an unsigned crown there, and then this is where one of the changes comes in with this V2. So apparently the V1 had completely flat lugs, and they weren't drilled. When I initially looked at this one, I thought these were flat too, but if you look closely, there is an ever so slight tilt on them, just tilting down slightly. Personally, I'd like to see it a bit more though, because it is a little flat still. So now let's move on to the dial and talk about that in a bit more detail. So, as you'd expect with a Pilot Flieger style watch, it's fully printed, nothing applied. And again, we've got no branding on there, so there's no branding on the watch at all. It's completely sterile, and it's a matte black finish on the dial. And then we've got a nice pop of that blue on those hands. I don't think they're blued, I think they are just painted metallic blue, but they do look good. And given the price of the watch, you can kind of understand why they've gone with that option. And obviously, depending on the lighting, they will be more or less obvious. A lot of the time they will just look like they're black. So something else that you might have noticed by now is that second hand. So it's actually got a fairly smooth sweep on it, but this isn't actually an automatic watch. It's a VH31 sweeping quartz. So I'll quickly show you this in action now actually. So I've unscrewed the crown, nice and grippy, nice size to it. Just pull it out, just the one position, and then we can change the time. And obviously the second hand has stopped, so you do have hacking. And then pop it back in, second hand re-engages. I'll get a zoom in and give you a closer look at that crown, because it is really nicely finished, and as I say, it is really grippy too. So, I do like that a lot, really easy to use, and looks good. So now let's test whether we've got sapphire crystal on this or not, using the trusty diamond select tool. And, yep, we have got sapphire crystal, so it's always good to see, especially at this kind of price point. So hopefully you'll agree with me so far that it's shaping up pretty nicely, especially given the price. But now let's check out whether the lume on this is any good, see if they've skimped there. So initially at least, it's looking pretty impressive. It's actually so much on there it's reflecting off that crystal. So we've got BGW9 on this. And you'll probably also notice we've got that fully loomed second hand as well, which I do like, do appreciate that. In terms of consistency, it's looking pretty good across the hands and the indices as well. But the question as always is, what is the longevity like? So let's speed this up now and find out. So, is anything going to fade first? Or is it all going to fade about the same kind of rate? So far it's looking as if that's the case. I'm pleasantly surprised that the dial's not fading quicker, given it's fully printed. So it's all still pretty consistent. It's faded a little bit, but not too much. Still really usable. And even that second hand is still really good. Fully loomed, you still see that clearly too. I think it punches above its weight in terms of lume this one, given the price. Definitely better than I was expecting. So now, all that's left to do is go over the pros and cons, show you what it wears like on wrist, and then you can make up your mind whether you want to pick one of these up or not. So here it is on my 7-inch wrist. and I think it wears quite well. I was a little worried it might be a touch small, and as you guys know, I like to wear my NATO straps with the bulk underneath. And now it's on wrist, you can probably see what I mean about those lugs. Although they are slightly curved down, they still need a little bit more in my opinion, because otherwise you end up with this slightly odd gap either side. With the way the strap kind of lifts up and goes over. Obviously if you have it on a leather strap that won't be as bad, but if you're wearing it on a NATO, it's going to look a little bit strange. But again, because it's got drilled lugs, you can swap that out quickly and easily though. So that is a nice addition on this V2. I just think they need to curve those lugs a little bit further though. Perhaps I'll do that for a V3. In terms of legibility though, as you'd expect with it being a Flieger style watch, no issues with that whatsoever. Nice contrast on the dial, and again, we've got that nice kind of just hint of that blue on those hands. I also like that we've got the matching sandblasted hardware matching the case. And again, I do really like the choice of movement they've gone with. Having that sweeping quartz, it just adds a little extra. You kind of get the best of both worlds almost. But because it is quartz and not automatic, they've managed to get that case thickness down to under 10mm. So in terms of issues, the only one I really have is those lugs. Just turn them down a little bit more, give a bit more curvature, so it just conforms to wrist a bit better. But other than that, I can't really fault it, especially for the price. You're getting sapphire crystal, pretty impressive lume, the sandblasted finish, the addition of those new drilled lugs, and all of this for the bargain price of about $55. So to answer the question I posed at the beginning of this video, is this a great budget Flieger for people with smaller wrists or people who are just after a slightly smaller watch? Yeah, absolutely. If you don't mind those lugs being slightly straight and it wearing a little bit odd with NATO straps, if you're going to wear it on a leather, I don't think it'd be too much of an issue. If you can get past that, I highly recommend it. So if you are interested in picking one up, I'll leave a link to the website and also the AliExpress store. But that's it for this one guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.